say I'm Creeson and Agecoutay, and welcome to a special edition of Indigenous Circle. We're at the 39th annual Spring Celebration First Nations University Powwow, and this year we'll introduce you to a family wall dance powwow, and we'll talk to some of the people who make this event possible every year. We'll also have some unique local Indigenous stories you can only find here. We have all of that and much more, including this. What does the First Nations University Powwow mean to you?
I think it brings together a lot of people and a lot of families, and also healing for other people this to watch.
And this is how I get to meet a lot of people that I don't get to see otherwise.
Oh, it means everything to me. It's a wonderful thing because we need to keep practicing our culture spiritually and traditionally. And it's good for the young people.
So stick around because
Indigenous Circle will be back right after these messages.
welcome back. You can see behind me, this is what's called a grand entry. During a powwow, this happens at noon and 7 p.m. and it's a time when all the dancers, dignitaries, and special guests gather in the middle. It is a beautiful and colorful celebration. We now want to take you away from this venue to the First Nations University, where the students take a break from the books to have some fun, if only for a little while.
Today we are celebrating the annual Student Association's Winter Festival. What that includes is a host of Indigenous games and food to help students have a little bit of fun because it's been, going through exams and just to relieve the stress a little bit and, enjoy our culture and our traditions.
I'm going to throw it down. I'm going to throw him down. Onion Lake in the house.
It's called back push. It's introduced by the Inuit people. And so what we do, we would gather in a circle, we'd sit down on our butts, and we'd lock arms and sit back to back and try to push each other out with our legs, and our butt has to stay on the floor. And so it's quite challenging.
I love it. I mean, it's always with the Saskatchewan weather, you never know what the weather is going to be like, but I love it. I look forward to the Winterfest all year round.
What's the secret to making the best bannock?
Kneading. You got to knead right. The bannock competition was a hit. That went very well.
Flour, salt, water, sugar, lard.
We had an open fire and contestants, they baked their bannock on the quickest time and had to figure out how to keep it on the stick and run out to the fire and cook it and come back in. And then we had a couple of our elders be the taste testers and determine the winners from there.
The whole process was very fast-paced, but as long as you treated your dough with respect, it worked for you.
That's always the highlight, the main event, 12 o'clock noon, that brings everybody together. This year we had last year's winner win it again this year, so that always draws a lot of people to our annual neck bone eating contest.
I just went in there with the same strategy that I had last year, was just making sure that I break the bones apart.
It was really exciting. We kind of had a tough start at the beginning, but I powered through.
The pressures of getting exams in and, maybe sometimes they forget that as a community, a university, that we are also here to support them both academically, but also, to help them do that in a good way.
This summer, Toronto will host the 2017 North American Indigenous Games, and there are already many preparations being made for Team Saskatchewan to come out first this year. Adam Gamble prepared this story of one of the many athletes going to Toronto.
My name is Carlin Morris. I'm 17 years old and I play volleyball. Started out as not being that strong of a player, but because of all the support everyone brought to the court, it made me want to try harder and do well for them. In 2014, I tried out for the NAG basketball team for Team Sask, but I didn't make it. So after I started playing volleyball, I figured I'd try out again, but of course this time for volleyball. and I made it, and really excited to represent my province. My mom's side of the family is from George Gordon's First Nation, but my dad's side is from Standing Buffalo. I play because the game just brings so much energy. You know, it doesn't matter who's on the court or on the bench, they'll always be loud and support you. And it's good to get a nice hit every once in a while. I've chosen 4 specific goals. I have a make Team Sask for ICU and go to Toronto. I have a medal at provincials and nationals, be a starter for my club team, and play post-secondary volleyball, whether that be university or college. I really want to be within like the education system. Like, it doesn't really matter what I teach. Like, it could be phys ed or English or social. I just like teaching people like brand new things and like how to be themselves. My mom always motivates me to go my hardest, because she always reminds me of like people who wish they could be in the position that I am in. And that really motivates me to do it for them as well.
Lead on 2. 1, 2. Lead!
So we're also here to ask dancers, why do they dance? So why do you dance?
I dance because it makes me happy, and I feel a lot of support from my own family when I dance.
I love the feeling when I'm out there doing my moves, you know. Just, you know, basically what I've been doing, like been practicing the whole summer.
Coming up next, we'll take you to the celebrations on the floor.
Stay with us, we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back. Every year, the First Nations University Powwow is a sign that spring is finally here, and is one of the first and largest powwows of the season in Canada. Taylor Rattray caught up with one family who makes the powwow trail a family tradition.
Dancing is hard work. 2-year-old Itansha Goodwill discovered that here, the 39th annual First Nations University of Canada Powwow.
The past couple months, he's just been showing a lot of interest in dancing, and mainly the grass dance, like what I dance and most of my family dances.
So Goodwill decided to start his son early, making Itansha a 4th-generation dancer.
The way he moves is funny to watch, because he watches me, he watches my dad, he watches everybody that's dancing out there. You can tell he enjoys it.
The Goodwills are just one of many families taking part in the weekend-long competition, which brings together close to 1,000 dancers.
This is kind of the first powwow of the year, so it kicks off the powwow season. So all winter, dancers have been getting ready, repairing regalia and bringing out new beadwork.
For participants, it's about recognizing culture.
It's part of our celebration as Indigenous people.
And keeping traditions strong.
To me, I think this is the best way to keep it going, because you're having fun, you're expressing all the different kinds of colors, and from the young to real old, and everybody just enjoys being here because it uplifts people.
It's something Itansha has already picked up on, and his dad hopes will continue throughout the years.
He'll act completely different when he's out of his outfit. He'll play with his cars and do what other little boys do, but as soon as he's in his outfit, he dances, moves around, all the motions. And it's just like a different spirit for him. Yeah, say, I danced.
For Indigenous Circle, I'm Taylor Rattray in Regina.
Without our elders, we would not know many of the important teachings and traditions. Adam Gamble caught up with some of the elders who helped make this powwow what it is today.
Florence Isaac has been attending the First Nations University Powwow from the beginning, even before it was an official event.
College West. We had that powwow in the hallway there. It was just a small powwow.
That was in the mid-70s, when the university was known as the Saskatchewan Indian Federated College. A handful of students thought a powwow would be a good idea. Florence agreed. Now 84, she remembers how the powwow grew from humble beginnings.
They had about 3-4 drums to begin with. So every year it started to expand, and it was too small to have the powwow. We went to Center of the Arts.
Isaac was a custodian at the university in those days. She started in 1980 and retired in 1998. She also spent many years as an elder and advisor at the powwow. She has witnessed a tremendous growth in attendance.
We had people from United States. We had people from overseas, Wappen, powwow. Oh, it was wonderful.
Despite the growing numbers of dancers of the First Nations University of Canada powwow, getting to this stage wasn't easy. Nearly 40 years ago, it almost wasn't created.
A lot of hesitation. It was SIFC's first one down in the little buffeteria. Maybe had 11 dancers.
Brian Akawenzi was a student in 1978 and danced at the very first official powwow. The 69-year-old says he and other dancers had to deal with the ignorance of some non-Indigenous students.
Students that were watching us, some were insulting, but we had to get over that. We continued. And from then on, we went down to the pit.
Isaac recalls that despite any negative comments received by non-Indigenous people, the powwow helped to create an understanding and acceptance between all people.
It brought life to the university. That's where we all got along together, building a bridge.
Over the years, education hasn't been the only change at the powwow. Beatrice Musme has also been attending since the beginning. She says dancers' regalia has also changed.
Before we had costumes that were authentic, and now it's all beads. There's not one costume that's the same.
Approaching its 40th year, Musme says the First Nations University of Canada powwow will continue to grow in positive ways. The 72-year-old says these changes are in the hands of the future generations.
Parents got to start their children out in powwow, and then they could come here and learn how to dance, and guaranteed they won't get into trouble.
For Indigenous Circle, I'm Adam Gamble in Regina.
Thank you, Adam. For 5 weeks, we had student Mercedes Redman work alongside us on the job.
While at CTV, she learned how to shoot, write, and edit stories just like many of the reporters. She also helped in interviews and watched how Indigenous Circle is produced. For her final assignment, we brought her to the powwow to talk to some youth about how everyone is invited to join in on the celebrations. Mercedes?
Thanks, Creeson. I'm Mercedes Redman, and I'm here to share why anyone can go to a powwow. What is your message to people who think they can't come to a powwow?
We're a very open community, and it's a shame that people feel that way because I know some people feel uncomfortable and unwelcome, but like I said, we're very open and welcoming to other people. So
a powwow is a welcoming place for everyone in every race to come and enjoy themselves. If you're nervous or you're a little scared, just come out, come have fun.
Here it's a free country. You can just come to powwows, you'll enjoy it, and so on.
What is your message to others who may think that they can't go to a powwow?
I would just say to be open about going places, don't be scared. And just because you're not First Nation or have First Nation blood in you, it means that you're not cut out of anything.
Thank you, Mercedes. And from everyone at Indigenous Circle and CTV News, we wish you the very best in your future careers and beyond. Now here's the message from one of our many viewers.
Hi, this is Mike LaLiberty. I'm out in the powwow trail, and you're watching CTV's Indigenous Circle.
This powwow, like all powwows, has a tradition of paying respect to First Nation veterans. This year was extra special because a tribute was paid to veterans who fought in a historical battle 100 years ago.
On the same day as the Vimy Memorial celebrations, the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations, along with local veterans, addressed the audience and recognized the many World War I veterans, including Tom Denemy, who held a photo of some of the soldiers who never came home after the war.
Remember these veterans, and I will find a way to build a monument to honor these veterans from my home territory.
There was also a moment of silence to recognize the great battle.
We now want to take this time to recognize the many volunteers who help make this powwow a reality every year. From fundraising to organizing and making sure the event runs smoothly, many organizations know they cannot get it done without these vital people.
Michel Aldossery is finishing his second year at the University of Regina studying economics. He enjoys giving back to the community when he can, like selling 50-50 tickets at the powwow.
I'm happy to help in this event to make it even more successful than before.
Originally from Saudi Arabia, this is his second time at a powwow. Aldossery admits he did not know much about First Nations culture until he came to the powwow last year.
Most of the things I know was wrong, but when I came here, I found it enriching, and I have a lot of respect to First Nations and Aboriginals in general, when I learned about the history.
Volunteering at the powwow is also educational for university student Mackenzie Anderson.
Get a good pretty deal out of it, come in here for free and sell tickets to people, interact with people, and it's just a great experience for myself. So
it's full of colors, it's vibrant, there's a lot of sounds and smells in the air.
Every year, the First Nations University Powwow Committee needs more than 50 volunteers in order for the event to be a success.
They're kind of our backbone. They're also, for us, for the committee, they're also our bridge and our connection to our community.
Aldossery says he will come back to the celebrations next year as he feels a close connection to the Indigenous people of this country.
Very interesting that we have some things in common in terms of traditions. Like, for example, respect towards the elders. And one time I was in a feast before a round dance, and I saw how the elders were put first before the youngest. So we have something like that, like we respect the elders and put them first.
To be crowned a princess of a powwow is a great honor for many young Indigenous women and girls, and they will go on to represent their First Nation for one whole year. Cheyenne Finday was 2016's First Nations University Princess, and on the last day of the powwow, she passed on the crown to grade 11 student Jessie Cashwadam from the Payapot First Nation. Here is what wearing the crown means to Cashwadam.
it's really honoring because in my family, no one really, we don't go out for big titles or anything. We try our best to help everyone. I want to become a role model, just like my mom, because she's a big role model in my life and she helps everybody the best she can. And I want to do the same, but not only for my family, but for everyone around me. My goal is to become a teacher, and I want to attend the First Nations University.
From all of us at Indigenous Circle, we wish you the very best in your future, Jessie.
We now want to tell you how to reach us. Write to Indigenous Circle, Box 2000, Regina S4P 3E5. My phone number is 306-569-6451. We're also online at regina.ctvnews.ca and saskatoon.ctvnews.ca. From there you can view our latest episodes. Our email is indigenouscircle@ctv.ca. And don't forget to join the Facebook group Indigenous Circle on CTV. We share behind-the-scenes photos, videos, stories, and music, and we're also online on Instagram, and I'm also on Twitter. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show on the 39th annual First Nations University Spring Celebration Powwow. A big thanks goes out to all of our guests who helped make this show happen. We close with more sights and sounds of Western Canada's largest indoor powwow. Have a good night, everyone.